Ryan Leslie is a genius. He got a perfect score on his SAT at the age of 14 and went to Harvard early, where he was able to graduate by 19. He started producing music on the side while in school, and after grinding for a few years, he got his first production credit with some artist I've never heard of named Beyonce. Then he went on to produce some of the biggest songs of the 2000s, including Me and You by Cassie, and dropped solo music that reached the Billboard Hot 100. This video of him in the studio with a full suit on lives rent-free in my head. Ryan Leslie is a smart, successful, and talented guy. So when he stopped focusing on music production and pivoted to a venture he thought would be the next big thing, it raised eyebrows. Leslie started a company called Superphone. Superphone is a direct text marketing service. Artists could text their fans directly to keep them updated about future projects, send them links first, and even just say what's up if they wanted to. Superphone is still around today, and artists like Cardi B and Miley Cyrus have used it. Beyond this one company, SMS marketing has become a huge part of many artists' promotion strategies. There are several competitors like Community, Subtext, and many others. It makes sense why artists would want to be able to text their fans directly. Relying on the constantly changing algorithms of social media to reach people becomes more and more futile every day. With information and competition flying in from every angle, maintaining attention can be difficult. Keeping all the people who are interested in your music at your fingertips makes a lot of sense. But there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Who does SMS marketing make the most sense for as artists? And perhaps most importantly, do fans actually like it? Or is it annoying as f? As an artist myself, I've used SMS marketing before, and as a fan of artists, I've been on the receiving side as well. Let's try to understand why they've become even more popular recently. In the 2020s, a lot of popular songs are gaining steam before they even come out, thanks to snippets on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts, and whatever other platform probably exists by the time you're watching this video. Having a viral snippet is one thing, but to make sure people return to the song when it's actually out, many artists put up pre-save links, so fans can register to have the song automatically added to their library when it comes out. I'm old enough to remember writing down when albums and mixtapes were going to come out. The pre-save is basically the digital version of that. Pre-saves are probably worth their own video, but what I've noticed recently is a lot of artists moving away from the traditional pre-save link to one that has them texting me when the song comes out. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but it's really been more and more common in the past few months. It makes sense that artists would want to improve on the pre-save system. For one, sometimes I click on a pre-save and then forget that I did it. You don't get a notification on Spotify when the song that you pre-saved comes out. It'll just get quietly added to your library. I'm on top of checking my new releases on Spotify every day, but I'm sure a lot of people who use Spotify are not. So not everyone who pre-saves is going to actually remember that they pre-saved. DSPs are flirting with adding the in-app pre-save. I know Spotify is doing this now for like A-list artists, but this is not available to everyone yet. And also it's not a perfect solution because that's just one DSP. So why is texting artists a better alternative than a pre-save link? Well, sometimes it's not about the song, but the long game. Not every snippet you tease is gonna go viral. Sometimes that follow-up song won't reach the exact same audience that the first one did, even if that audience would probably like the song. Now you can text them directly when the song comes out. Isn't that great? The platform I've seen a lot of up-and-coming artists using is called Laylo. If you go to Laylo's website, they have tons of testimonials from these big artists like Bella Porch. When you click a Laylo link and go to pre-save, they ask for your phone number. You put that in, get a confirmation text, and then when the song comes out, you get another text with the link. This sounds great, right? But for the fans, I can see it having the potential to become annoying. I think a lot of artist marketing strategies are cool and cutting edge until everyone starts using them. And then they become really repetitive and grating. Think about TikTok promo trends. For a while, it was the 7-second video with a lot of text. After everyone started doing that, you implicitly just get turned off seeing it. Then it was the man on the street, what are you listening to? TikToks that were like obviously fake or staged. And those got really annoying as well. Maybe I'm just a hater, but something drives me crazy when I see those. Then there was the, is this the song of the summer? Which I'm not sure was ever not annoying, but it only got worse as time went on. I just need you to close your eyes and picture a world where every artist texts you when their song is gonna come out. Do you guys all realize how insufferable that would be? I might be in the minority in terms of how much I pre-save other artists' stuff. Honestly, like being an artist myself and having to ask for pre-saves, I know what it's like. So I feel like if I see an artist that I know post a pre-save, I'm probably gonna pre-save it. But because I'm such a frequent pre-saver, I might be the only person annoyed by this like at this point. I haven't heard a lot of people complaining about it. So I went to the internet looking to see if I can find anyone complaining about it. I asked people on the KTT2 forum if they have any experience getting SMS marketing from artists and if anybody had ever crossed the line or gotten annoying. I was a little surprised that only one person said if the artist overuses it, it's annoying. Artists have never been known to be a group of people that shows restraint when it comes to self-promo. But perhaps I'm a little more worried about a future than I am complaining about a present. With that being said, a lot of the responses I got showed that people were on email lists but not text lists. I think email lists are a little less invasive, obviously, but they're also not as effective as directly texting someone. The people who did say they were on SMS marketing for some artists all had a similar response. They did it to get access to tour tickets. 2 people specifically mentioned Tyler the Creator and his Camp Flognaw tickets, or his Call Me If You Get Lost one-off show that he did in New York. I think this is an example of when SMS marketing makes a lot of sense. Is something going to sell out or be really limited? Then let your biggest fans get the link first. That makes perfect sense to me. And I've experienced this personally as a fan when I was buying Saba's Care For Me vinyl. Got it with me right here. Classic. This was a limited release and I knew it was going to sell out in minutes. So I signed up so I can get the link as early as possible so I can cop. I feel like Saba provided me with a reward for being his fan. And for that, I'm definitely cool with getting texted. Do I need a text every single time a song is going to come out? I'm not sure. I'm probably a little more skeptical than most, and that's because I've actually used SMS marketing as an artist. I had a community phone number for almost 2 years, and during that time I had around 100 people in my contacts. I would send out links for songs, give out merch, show people videos early, and I personally don't feel like I ever crossed the line or got too annoying. I would reply to people's messages personally, which hopefully made it feel worthwhile for the people who signed up. The only real kind of drawback was a lot of people thought it was my real phone number. So they would like text me to like send me some shit instead of like wanting to like receive marketing from me. They were like, oh, this is my chance to send you stuff. And I was like, that's not really what I signed up for. But like, if you DM it to me, like, I'll look at it anyway, you know? Which is one reason why it didn't make as much sense for me to have an SMS number. I'm not big enough as an artist to not be checking my DMs. And honestly, like, I'm not sure how big that is, but it's like pretty manageable for me to check my DMs. And I respond to pretty much everybody. So like, what do I need a personal phone number for like super fans for? They can just DM me. I'd love to get in and check some of the statistics that I had, like the click-through rate and the engagement. However, since I canceled my plan in March, I no longer have access to any of the stats. The plan was $50 a month, and I felt like I wasn't getting my money's worth in terms of clicks and engagement. Around the same time that I started feeling that way, I was reached out to by a guy named Mullen, who had started his own SMS marketing platform designed for artists called FanPad. As an early adopter, I can get in for free. So that was appealing for me. Because they also did pre-save links, it was a chance for me to save money in 2 ways, canceling my feature FM and my community, which saved me around $75 a month, which like as an artist is like a lot of money. When I went to cancel my community account, I asked them if I could take the contacts that I had worked hard to acquire with me to my new platform. Well, they offered me an Excel sheet with the data. They made me sign something that basically meant I wouldn't be able to text those numbers from my new SMS account. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't even really know if that was legal or not. But at the end of the day, I didn't care enough to risk it. When it comes to texting, you're subject to a lot of FCC laws that are way over my head as an artist just trying to get some links out there. I don't necessarily blame community for not letting me bring my artists with me. It's not necessarily their fault if it's a legal thing. And also, the game is the game. It's not really that surprising. But I want artists to realize this isn't like the savior solution that people kind of think it is. People go to SMS marketing because they don't want to be trapped by the Instagram algorithm or the TikTok algorithm or whatever. However, in my situation, I was trapped into paying $50 a month to keep texting them. So while I did have that control around the algorithms, it was a financial burden, and at my size, it didn't make a lot of sense to keep doing it. Artists who are considering using an expensive service like that need to ask themselves, am I going to be making that $50 a month back through selling merch or something else? And am I selling something that's gonna move so quickly that sending the link to superfans is even gonna make sense? This is not an insult or a dig at community or any of the other texting services. I think at that stage in my career, I might not have had the need for a more expensive marketing platform like Community. I think artists should reflect on the end game when they sign up for things like this. Or if you're signed to a label or something and it's not your money, let it rip, who cares? All I know is I got pretty sick of paying $50 a month to get me 15 clicks, especially when most of those people probably follow me on social media anyway. And also they had to be in the US, which meant that my international fans had to talk to me on Discord or in my DMs, which is fine, but it kind of sucks that I couldn't use that service with them too. I don't know if all of them are like that, but that's what it was like for me when I used it. Speaking of social media, I think some of these platforms have started to see the value of having this direct messenger. Instagram rolled out the broadcast channel this year. I didn't jump on it at first because I didn't really understand what it was, but I've been using it for a month or two, and I already have more than twice the number of people I had on community after 2 years. On a broadcast channel, you can send messages and links directly to anyone who subscribes. Instead of DMing 235 people every time I had something to share, I can send it once, and those 235 people can see it. The drawback is only up to 5 other people can message in there at once, but you can always add and remove who has messaging privileges and make it creative so people can participate. But it'll never be the exact same as someone texting you directly. Although, they could just DM you if you're gonna check your DMs, so it doesn't make that big of a difference. I think the IG broadcast channel is a great starter point for people who were thinking about paying for a marketing phone number, unless you have like no audience on Instagram for some reason. Otherwise, it seems like a good place to start. But I'm just one artist with one perspective. So I hopped on Zoom with my friend Malin, the founder of FanPad. I wanted to hear from him about why he got into SMS marketing, why he thinks it's the future for artists, and some other stuff that FanPad is up to. So today's sponsor is... So Malin and I had a great conversation about SMS marketing, and I asked him about how he thinks artists can use it well.
If you're looking to really build a community of your fans, like this is a really savvy way to do it, but you have to be willing to put in the effort, like from the artist side, in terms of being thoughtful, not being transactional, and keeping up with it. I think that's the worst thing. What happens is you invest a lot of time up front, and then you're like, either it's not maybe the number of phone numbers that you were hoping for, or you're not willing to kind of continue the strategic consistency required to collect data over and over. You can't make one post and expect, all of your super fans to convert over. Like that, just by the nature of how social media works, that's not going to work. It requires like consistent action. So artists who are not willing to put in that work, it doesn't actually end up translating to big benefits long term, because you might use it once for one blast, you might use it twice for 2 blasts, and then you forget about it for 4 months, and then you use it again for your 6th blast or 6th release, and it's a terrible experience for the fans at that point. So I think the pros are clear, but there are clear watchouts too. If you don't fulfill the minimum effort, the minimum scale, or the sort of minimum ROI, then it ends up being something that may not work super well.
I also asked Malin if he had any advice for artists who are looking to get into SMS marketing, but also what he thought they should avoid.
I want to just play it out for you, right? Like let's play out 2 examples. Let's say artist A, like maybe they're using FanPad, maybe they're just using best in class like sales marketing tools and Logic and a really good team. And artist B, which is like basically the poster child for how people use SMS marketing today, right? Let's just take what you just said and play 2 examples out. One is, I'm not going to name names, but I'll use like artist A who sells, collects emails to text you when the vinyl drops. Cool. Now, you as a fan, you've signed up, you go through the flow, and you buy a vinyl, and you're like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. Like you said, you kind of felt like you're doing me a favor because I didn't miss out on this thing that I wanted. Awesome. Now, let's say a month goes by. What happens, right? In option A, you can have a scenario where you start, in a really ideal world, you know who that person was that bought the thing. And you can attribute that back to your phone number and say, this person has bought this thing. And now we can be really smart over time about like, 2 months later, hey, thanks for buying that vinyl, dude. Like, we're going to do this thing, or here's a track I've been working on, or whatever that sort of downstream engagement to build that relationship becomes. Option B is like, you don't hear diddly squat from that phone number for 2 months or whatever. And then you just get a text out of the blue from a number that you probably haven't saved. That's like, yo, it's artist A. Like, I'm going on tour. Like, you can see how those are 2 very different flows for a fan, and like how you can bring fans down the funnel and build more of a repeatable connection with those people. Like in one scenario, the fan is like, awesome, like I'm part of this like one-to-one or one-to-many relationship with this artist that I really like. And in option 2, you're like, I'm just a dollar sign and I'm just a cog in a machine. And like, that's where I think it's really important. Like, you can have a great first touch point, but it's not just about that. It's like, if you want to use this channel, it's about showing up like and having a strategy that works with a 6, 12, 18 month timeline in mind. It's not about like selling out one thing is cool, but I think selling out one thing is actually not that hard today. It's more about how do I not like lose those people, and how do I create a world around those people so that they'll be down to buy more things in the future, and I can get smarter about how I'm like building that rapport with that fan, or those fans.
So if you came into this video as an artist trying to decide if SMS marketing is for you, I hope you take away that it's an amazing tool. But like anything else, it needs to be used correctly. It's also a little expensive, and you need to be smart and plan ahead on what your goals are. And remember that it's more personal than a lot of the other marketing you might be doing, so be careful to not make it too transactional. The goal is to build a community at the end of the day, not just trying to sell people stuff all day. If you're watching this as a fan wondering why artists keep texting you, I hope this added some context. Like Malin said, the goal of SMS marketing for artists is to build a community. And it's a tool that can help you get there, but it's not going to automatically do the work for you. Speaking of something that's not going to automatically happen, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment if you have any more thoughts. I really appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you next week. Peace.